Alright guys, let's go ahead and talk about one of the topics that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, which was weapon defense and magic defense. Basically the armor formula, if you will, inside MapleStory Classic, and how bad it is and why this should definitely change actually. Hopefully they understand how bad it is and they change it. It is hard to know because I believe even to this day armor is basically irrelevant in MapleStory. And I never understood why it was and why this formula is so bad. But I want to just, like I said, dive a little bit deeper, show you a couple of numbers. These numbers basically, I'm going to explain them on the layman's term, but basically, like, to just make it as simple as possible to understand. These numbers I personally was provided to them by developers, let's say, who have the code of old school MapleStory, let's say, and they have jumped right into it and analyzed it deeper. And yeah, I want to just showcase to you how huge this problem is and actually show you how good it would be if they would change it. So let's get started. The first formula I want to talk about is the weapon defense formula. Basically, one of the most important formulas, because in MapleStory Classic mainly, we normally be touching the mobs all the time whenever we walk around them or we're training. So basically, the way it works, it's that you have each stat. You have strength. It's kind of weird the way it works, to be honest, and I don't understand why they made it that way. I'm trying to think the logic behind it, but it's super weird. Well, there were different times, so it's kind of old, if you will. So this is the way it works. So basically, you have to put it simple in layman's terms, is you have strength, dex, int, and luck, and each of these stats, they have a value they are divided by. Let's call it x. Each one of them have a value that they're divided by x. I'm not sure what that value is, to be honest, because this formula or this explanation was provided to me. So by a developer that gets into the code, they know what's behind the scenes. So basically, like I said, each stat has an x value that they're divided by. And after all of the stats are divided by this value, then they are divided again by another value, probably a magic number, let's call it y. And then this is basically to create something called stat scaling, quote unquote, which means that as you level up and you keep getting stats, your stats are determining how much damage you are able to take from mobs. Probably, if I have to guess, strength has a higher stat than int, for instance, when it comes to the value x that I'm talking about. So let's keep that in mind. So like I said, each stat divided by x and then divided again by y. And then for some reason there is another magic number there, which is then after that is done, then you add 0.28 to this scale number that you just got. And then you multiply that to the total defense that you have. And that's basically the way it used to be, the formula. So let's give you an example that also was provided to me. So let's say that you have 500 strength, 100 dex, and some int and some luck. Let's say 4 luck and 4 int. And then you have, like I said, if we take the formula that I mentioned before, you divide those by x and then divide them everything by y. And after you do that, then you multiply that number for the amount of defense that you have. In this case, let's say that is 176. After that, the scale of that using the old formula would be around 0.491. And then if you multiply that to that defense, it's basically total amounts to around 86, which is basically nothing. That means that you're gonna block 86 damage out of what? 2,000 that you're taking? If you go in deep loot, if you're level 90 or something, it's just so minuscule. It's so small, the amount of damage that you're blocking, that it, like, for the thousands that you're taking, that it completely becomes irrelevant, the amount of defense that you got, or this formula overall. So it's pretty sad to see that this formula is there, and it's just like not being talked about as much, to be honest, and people just talk about HP and increasing HP. I will show you a video where this formula actually has been fixed. So like I said, there were some developers playing around with the formulas and changing it completely, and I can show you what it could be. So in the next video, you will see basically a warrior that doesn't have armor, gets hit damage. You see how much the damage is, whatever, and then put some armor on, and you will see the difference in when it comes to damage that he takes, and it's just beautiful. So let's go ahead and watch it. So as you're able to see, before the water placed the shield on, it was like 1700-ish damage, but after wearing the shield, it was like 1300-ish damage. So this can tell you that less shield is actually good in a case where you have armor that matters. And this is like a very good showcase of what MapleStory can be if this is fixed, which I think it was intended to be this way, where you have people with shields that would be able to tank more. You would have different builds for warriors, for example, where they would go more defensive route and why not. So yeah, I think this would be definitely a better way than just increasing HP. Now let's talk about magic defense. Magic defense is even worse, actually. It's so bad when it was explained to me that I could not believe it. So basically, in the original version of the game, the way magic damage, let's talk about magic damage specifically. The magic damage was pretty strange, actually. Instead of your main stats, let's say intelligence, or obviously for mages, playing the biggest role, most of your magic damage actually came from magic attack stat, which is usually from your weapon. So it barely matter, like, except for magic attack, it added, obviously. So magic attack, so it mattered for that sense. And your second stack log for magicians was basically useless unless you were like using the heal skill. I believe the heal skill like did matter, actually had some weird formula when it comes to luck, and that's it. And because of this, your gear didn't really affect your damage much. Like, yeah, I mean, you have a little bit of it, but it doesn't matter because magic attack is better, which is why like you have this huge presence of luckless builds in Classic, where you have the bishops luckless and any magician like luckless, because it didn't matter. If your gear isn't helping much and the only reason to increase your luck is to wear that gear, then there is really no point of focusing on it. So that's just like in magic defense in this case, seemed like it doesn't like help at all when it comes to like magic defense in the first place, because like there is no incentive to get the gear, which brings a lot of luckless builds. You have even warrior luckless builds, sorry, not luckless, but dexless. You have dexless assassins and luckless magicians, because the reality is, in a lot of cases, the gear didn't matter. I mean, it's just like the weapon attack or whatever, or magic attack in this case. And yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate that's the case. One of the things I hate is the way things have been fixed. And this has to do with increasing HP. Every single level is just increasing HP. Oh, we want to fix the HP washing and the problem of getting one-shotted. Well, let's increase HP and that's it. Let's have you drink some potions along the way to have a better amount of HP and stuff like that, which is not good. I mean, like as an assassin, for instance, you're not supposed to have that much HP. That's fine. The problem is like your armor and stats should matter to calculate the defense properly, how much you would tank. Because it's actually not correct to just increase HP. It fixes the problem in a very weird way. If you're just like, oh, you have this huge problem with armor, like magic defense and weapon defense, that is completely useless. What are we gonna do about it? Let's increase HP and that's it. It's kind of weird. It reminds me a little bit of the United States and the regulations when it comes to guns. And then like how basically you have that problem where they need to regulate these laws in the United States, but then instead of like actually doing that, so they say, okay, let's put bunkers to protect the students and stuff like that, like at school. So it's just like you get this okay, yes, if you put bunkers, you're just gonna fix the problem in a weird way, but why not fixing the core of the problem, which is like which is where I come from. And I believe like if they do that, it would make the game feel so much better. You would see a lot of people like with gear and motivated to change gears and just progress the normal way that it was intended. One additional note is if you fix this problem, you would have very interesting situations with scrolls that are trash, like weapon defense and magic defense scrolls. These are obviously it's not worth it to do that because the formula it's ridiculous. And it is always better to put stats. Whereas if you have like a situation where these mattered, you would have these scrolls providing some defense in different ways. You can even remove the scrolls, insert or change them to provide different kind of stats, not only defense. But what I'm trying to say is like if defense and magic defense was a thing, you would be able to use those scrolls to increase the defense of your equipment in certain situations and be able to tank or last in certain areas of the game. So that's what I wanted to add when it comes to the magic defense and weapon defense problem. Big shout outs to the Odyssey team that they provided me with this data, because without it I would not be able to have explained it in the layman's terms. We all know that the actually formulas were busted and that never, like, they did nothing basically, but we never knew why. So I hope this has given you a little bit of an insight into why it's so busted, and hopefully make help you understand basically how it works and how bad it is. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please like the video, maybe subscribe perhaps, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Take care.